here for history. Okay, so it just says here, it says a new look at the prehistoric icons. National Geographic, and then it has a picture of all the dinosaurs. Look how cute he is. Contents: a view of the dinosaurs like never before. What happened to the dinosaurs? And it has an introduction. Dinosaurs Redux. At its heart, our understanding of dinosaurs still hinges on finding fossils, an endeavor that remains surprisingly low-tech and involves mostly pickaxes, brushes, and brow sweat. And there's never been a bigger boom of fossil discovery than right now. There are multiple fossils unearthed on most days around the world. Many dozens of new species are coming to light every year. And when those fossils get into a trained scientist's hand, or hands, the dino's whole world can open up. All these new fossils, offering multiple looks at the same species or filling in missing parts, also mean previous mistakes or misconceptions can be revealed and corrected. Sometimes, whole new species emerge from the process. See, and then they just are digging up some fossils. And then it says here that before fossils can be CT scanned or otherwise analyzed, using high-tech tools, they have to be painstakingly excavated out of the dirt, as here in Utah. A view of dinosaurs like never before. Oh, I think they're cute. They kind of look like birds. They kind of look like birds. High-tech tools such as CT scans and 3D renderings are widening the notches on paleontologists' tool belts. They are helping detail Africa's water-loving and possibly paddle-swimming Spinosaurus and cracking the dino eggs mysteries. And then here is a picture of, I guess it's a computer simulation of a microraptor. Micro generally means like small, like Microcephalus. So look at this one. With evidence of feathers on all four appendages. Couldn't take off from the ground because of its leg feathers, but it could glide between treetops. Interesting. And then this one says, reimagining dinosaurs. Paleontologists are rewriting what we know about the ancient beasts through innovative scientific techniques and a flood of recently discovered fossils. Our understanding of dinosaurs is seeing a revolution, one fueled by a wealth of fresh fossils and innovative research techniques. The resulting scientific bonanza is forcing us to rethink popular visions of these ancient animals. For several years, scientists have unveiled an average of about 50 new dinosaur species, pint-sized flyers with bat wings, to long-necked herbivores that are Earth's biggest ever land animals. Medical scanners, particle accelerators, and chemical analysis are letting researchers virtually separate rock from and then see it there. They have a flying dinosaur. They have this, or they have a winged dinosaur. And then it looks like they have something in like a petri dish. And up here it says feathered fossils from remarkable sites around the world preserve vestiges of all kinds of tissue. In 2014, researchers announced they have found an Edmontosaurus regalis, a type of Hadrosaurus, in western Canada that has a coxcomb of mummified flesh, like what you'd see on a rooster. In 2014, researchers announced they had found an Edmontosaurus regalis, a type of Hadrosaurus, in western Canada that has a coxcomb of mummified flesh, like what you'd see on a rooster. This is a structure nobody knew the dinosaur had, despite knowing of the species for nearly a century. Dinosaurs' bones had shown that the creatures used exaggerated body parts to woo mates and jockey for social status, just like modern animals, or to find their kin. With Edmontosaurus and other dinosaurs bearing soft tissues, paleontologists are seeing hints of these displays' true splendor. And then it goes on to say, in a few cases, researchers can even infer some of the animals' original chemistries. In 2008, scientists led by paleontologist Jacob Vinther, now the UK's University of Bristol, figured out that melansomes, tiny subcellular sacs filled with pigment, melanin, could fossilize. The discovery opened the door to a field once thought impossible, figuring out the colors of extinct dinosaurs' skin and feathers based on the shapes, sizes, and arrangements of their melansomes. These reconstructions come with caveats. Living animals employ other pigments besides melanin, and some extinct dinosaurs probably did too. Even so, recent finds have been astonishing. The feathered dinosaur, Anchiornis, I don't know if I'm saying that right, Anchiornis, which lived in what is now China, had a reddish crest. The early Cetopsian Pachysaurus had red-brown skin that contributed to an early form of dino camouflage. Interesting. In 2018, an international team reported that the feathers of Gehong, a dinosaur that lived in the same region as Yikai, once shimmered with all the colors of the rainbow. Wow, look how pretty they are. I just made a dinosaur noise. Introducing Spinosaurus via robotic tail test. Homing in on Spinosaurus's massive tail reveals much about both the features of this creature and how dino studies have changed. Wow, it just kind of looks like, oh wow, it's like underwater, and look how long its tail is. It says that it's 17 foot long paddle-shaped tail plus a 6-foot sail on its back. Crazy, see, that's like the sail. decomposed bones and extrapolations from related creatures. Dino eggs show their true colors. Wow, dino eggs. Bird eggs such as these eggs right here from Tina Mouse get their colors from pigments including protoporphyrium and belverdine. Some fossil dinosaur eggs preserve these two compounds, hinting at their use. Fossil eggs from Mosasaurus left show chemical trails of being soft rather than calcified, and you'd have likely been buried in soil or sand. Wow. A laser, it's right here, it says a laser treatment hints at the use dinosaurs could and couldn't see that affected the eggs they were laid and tried to camouflage for survival. No. And this one is, I'm not sure if I'm saying some of these like dinosaur names right. I'm just doing my best here. So this one is talking about a Tyrannaosaurus egg had a bluish hue, suggesting that like modern birds with similarly colored eggs, it brooded its young. And then the calcified eggs of the Velociraptor relative Tyrannaosaurus had a bluish hue. So this was suggesting like modern birds with similarly colorful eggs. The dinosaur had open air nests and brooded its young. By contrast, fossilized Protoceratops embryos found in Mongolia and Mosasaurus embryos from Patagonia are surrounded by what was once leathery eggshell, according to a study Weeman co-authorized in 2020. The find suggests not only that these dinosaurs buried their nest like modern sea turtles do, but also that the first dinosaurs' eggs were similarly soft. That adds a twist to dinosaurs' evolutionary story, since it implies hard eggshells, which are found throughout the group Dinosauria, must not have a common origin. Instead, the trails evolved at least 3 times. The fossilized bird egg from what is now Nebraska laid 10 of millions of years after the extinction of the non-avian dinosaurs helps researchers analyze the chemistry of more ancient eggshells and how like Velociraptor and Dilophosaurus can get their due, and some unexpected dino details are revealed. Wow, they do look very intricate, don't they? Look at all the details. Unearthing new species in Utah. New knowledge starts with the new fossils. The ancient landmass, Tyrannaosaurus, part of which is now Utah's Badlands, has been providing a windfall plus tantalizing hints of ecological dynamics. A layer of mudstone the millers were hacking into had been deposited on the east coast of that slender landmass, which once stretched 4,000 miles, 6,400 kilometers from the Arctic. During the 20 million years or so that it existed, Tyrannaosaurus seems to have been a runaway dinosaur factory. Wow. From 2000, Samson had helped lead expeditions into the wilds of Tyrannaosaurus. The researchers and the impetus came from the Natural History Museum of Utah and the U.S. Bureau of Land Management, as well as the Denver Museum, working mainly in the Kaparowitz Formation, a 2,600-foot, 800-meter thick deposit dating from 77 million to 75 million years ago. They'd unearthed fossils of thousands of plants and animals, from conifer cones to crocodiles, turtles, and dinosaurs, especially dinosaurs. During the 20 million years or so that it existed. And then it goes on to say, Tyrannaosaurus seems to have been a runaway dinosaur factory, cranking out large and small dinosaurs and a surprising diversity of species. Figuring out how and why that happened, the researchers could tell us something fundamental about the interplay between ecology and evolution. This place is littered with bones, Samson said, as his boots crunched up a slope not far from where the Miller brothers were working. I've got pieces of turtle going up this hill, but I have no idea where the rest of this thing is. He picked up a small beige object and licked it to see if it was porous bone or boring rock. If it's bone, it will stick to your tongue, he said. If it's rock, it won't. This one is stuck. Ian Miller talks fossil flurries and prehistoric plants in ancient land masses. Why are the Utah Badlands such a prolific place for fossil hunting? A couple of things. In the modern setting, you need fossils that are uplifted and exposed when they dribble out of hillsides. They don't erode quickly, turning the clock back to where dinosaurs were all living. The Badlands are a small little basin, a little smaller than the Mississippi Delta. The area is sinking. The sediment is accumulating layers of silt and sand. That's the pages of the dinosaur book. It definitely is prolific in fossils, but many places are like in the American West. The rocks uplift, the hills are slowly eroding, and every rainstorm brings things closer to the surface. any dino icons that lived in ancient Laramida? You specialize in ancient plants. What can they tell us about a dinosaur lived? Some say most of what we know about dinosaurs are about North American dinosaurs. Why would that be, and is it changing? And then they have an article on those topics. Oh wow, this one says hot, swampy, and teeming with dinosaurs. Horned and duck-billed herbivores meet at a river 77 million years ago in what is now southern Utah desert. A carnivore, I cannot say this, a carnivore called Talus, a bird-like theropod, watches from a tree. The landscape that supported such a dense concentration of species on the Laramida may have resembled the subtropical wetlands of northern Louisiana. Wow, they look so interesting, don't they? Wow, so pretty. And then here's like some more pictures down here. Oh wow, so pretty. Imagine if we still lived with the dinosaurs. Okay, oh wow, look at these dinosaurs, they're huge. Look at this man, and then the dinosaur fossils or skeletons. So it says an adult and a juvenile Teratophenius get a dusting from Jeffrey Leonard at the Natural History Museum of Utah. Like T-Rex, their larger relative, they likely were fierce predators. Yeah, they look like predators, don't they? They look mean. That's where the plants came in, said Ian Miller the next morning at the new leaf quarry he'd found on the ridge, sitting on a ledge, looking out over an arid, jagged, and mostly unvegetated landscape. Miller splitting it nearly in two on either side of the interior were mirror image impressions of a leaf intact with all the detail of a specimen that had fallen into a pond the day before. This wasn't a desert 75 million years ago, Miller said. We found more vines in this formation than in any other I've ever seen. The forest here was more like a jungle with vines twining up the trees. We've also found lily pads and water lettuce, so we know there were more ponds here with floating vegetation. And here is a map from 77 million years ago. Appalachia, Laramida, Dinosaur Park, Two Medicine, Judith River, etc. Fruitland. So the vegetation could have been so thick and lush in this part of Laramida that there was no need for animals to wander very near. That's what Miller speculated. Perhaps even the largest duck-billed dinosaur was able to get its fill within a relatively small range. That's what you see today in tropical rainforest. He said many species sharing the same small spaces. The whole continent could have been organized as a series of ecological zones at different latitudes, each defined by varying amounts of precipitation or sunlight, and each supporting its own set of dinosaurs. You wouldn't need a physical barrier to explain the explosion of new species. It says, oh, the past is calling. History. This one says, okay, so for billions of years, DNA has served as life's information molecule, containing instructions for how and when to build the proteins of living organisms. But how long can that biological information survive? And then here's a picture of all the dinosaurs. Wow. What happened to the dinosaurs? New kinds of fossil collectors emerge and create controversy and perhaps new paths to collaboration, begging the question, where do the bones belong? Meanwhile, the meteor theory gets consensus and the modern day dinos among us come to light. So see, this one says, a yaki glides above while two pheasant-sized Tianalong bathe. Soft tissue analysis shows Jurassic era dinosaur, not bird. Yikai had membered his wings between its fingers. So see, like this. Wow. Kind of like a duck. The dinosaur in the room. Pretty. Fossils of long extinct creatures don't always end up in museums. Today, they're in homes and businesses as wealthy collectors indulge a controversial hobby. Is there a bridge between the two worlds that can benefit the fossils? Imagine if you had one of these in your house. How cute. Oh, look, there's a dinosaur. use of